when you fart, you don't see it, but you know it's there. And other people around you, they might know it's there too. You know, we got to be at the place where we know that God exists. We know that he exists. If we know that he exists, then he can now begin to do things as God in our life. If we try to do things without God, then that's when things are hard. I mean, what do you want? Do you want the easy way or do you want the hard way? Do you prefer to do things the easy way or do you prefer to do things the hard way? There's a hard way to do things. You can toil for everything. You can struggle for everything. You know, you can do everything through hard work, through labor, or you can rest in God's provision. You can rest in the assurance of the Spirit of God carrying out all the work that needs to be done in the spiritual realm. Where does that leave us today? You know, there's a way to do things. That's a much easier way to do things. There's a way to do things that's easier than the way that we normally do things. You're able to now see things in the spiritual realm. If you can see things in the spiritual realm, then you would be able to know that you have exactly what you need. If I'm at the game, if I went to a game, football game, I'm in the stadium, I can see things from that stadium that you can't see from TV. There's a different perspective of what I see versus what you can see. And so in the physical material world, we can see things in a three-dimensional way. But in the spiritual realm, it's a fourth dimension. And that's a different sight of view from the fourth dimension. So if God is seeing things from the fourth dimension and we're seeing things from the third dimension, that's when our thoughts are not his thoughts and our ways are not his ways. Thus says the Lord. Because if he's seeing things from the spiritual realm and you're seeing things from the physical material realm, then what you think is based on what you see, and what God thinks is based on what he sees. So if we line up what he sees with what we see, then we're both seeing things the same way. Everything that God is going to do for you, he's going to do for you in the spiritual realm. He's going to do it in the spiritual realm. So if you ask for healing, he sends the healing inside of you. He sends the healing to your spirit because God is a spirit. And whoever's going to worship him has to worship him in the spirit. In the spirit, because God is a spirit. There's laws that govern the physical material world. And then there's laws that govern the spiritual world. And what most of us are trying to do is we're trying to use the same laws that are in the physical material world in the spiritual realm. That doesn't work. So I'm going to say that again. So there are laws in the physical material world, and there are laws in the spiritual world. And what most of us are trying to do is we're trying to use the same laws that are in the material physical world. We're trying to use those same laws in the spiritual realm. And those two things, they don't go together. Those laws, there's not the same laws. The laws of the spirit are not the same laws in the earth. The laws in the spirit are different than the laws that we have in this physical three-dimensional world. So we have to learn the new laws. We have to learn how things actually work in the spiritual realm. Because if we keep trying to use the same laws that we use in the earth with God. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. For example, it's like swimming. It's a different environment. So you're not just walking directly on the water. When you get into the water, you begin to swim because it's a different environment. It's a different environment. But when you get out of the water, you start walking again. You're on dry ground, you're walking. It's different laws. Now, if you try to use the laws of swimming on the earth, where you should be walking, you see what I mean? And if you switch them around, the same thing. When you get into the water, you want to swim. You're not trying to walk in the water. You're swimming in the water and you're walking on the land. If you try to swim on the land, it doesn't work. If you try to walk in the water, it doesn't work. Jesus walked on water, but he's exercising the laws of the Spirit for him to be able to walk on water because he knows the laws of the Spirit. See, there's laws in the Spirit and there's laws in the physical material world. And if we try to use the laws of the physical three-dimensional world in the Spirit, we'll find that it doesn't work for us. So, and then we'll say, oh, you know what? I tried it. It doesn't work. Because you tried it with the wrong laws. You were trying to swim where you're supposed to be walking and walking where you're supposed to be swimming. You know what I'm saying? So we have to learn the laws, how things actually work. If you try to learn how to drive a new car, you got to learn how that car works. Now, if you go from driving to flying an airplane, you're not going to fly the airplane the same way that you drive a car. There's different laws at work. So the laws of the Spirit are different. So getting the understanding of the spiritual realm is the most important thing. Getting understanding of the spiritual realm is the most important thing that we can do.